Okay, here's Exit Ticket. This is a great program for seeing what your students know and getting some great data that you can use to drive your instruction. So for the teacher, you need to go to exittix.com and sign up for an account, and then you can just go back when you're ready and log in to start creating your first exit ticket. You can use those for anything from a bell ringer at the beginning to check in the middle of class, or to an exit ticket to check and see how your students have done at the end of class or at the end of a unit. We've done pre-tests with these, quizzes, end of the chapter tests, all with this same thing. When you come in, after you have your classes set up, you'll see the assessments. Well, here's how you start a new class. You'll see the plus for a new class, and you might have to go to the course and term editor. When you first start, we've made this mistake many times, only make one course and then do multiple classes from that. We've made that mistake in the past. So you would add a new subject or course. You won't have all the other ones up above. You'll just have to hit add new subject or course, and then you call it. So I called mine science, and then there was no science as one of the options here, so I just hit other, pick your grade level, and then you would hit save. So I'm going to call this one, instead of science, we'll go math, just so I can tell the difference between them. So here's math. Then you can add a class, and so there you get to pick your school, and you have first period, so you could call it first period math. That's what I did with mine. You can see my science ones down here below. We're just called first period. You hit save, and then you can add another class. That really makes it nice and simple, so it's all the same. If you do a different course for each one, then it makes it a little bit more complicated, so don't make the same mistake I made when I first got started. So if I go back to my classes here, once I have all of my classes made, I don't have to set up all of the students. I can give them a code, which is just awesome. So here's my math class that I created. Okay, and if I go to add students right here, it brings up that class code, and so I just project that. The students will go to exittix.com, and I'll show you that here in a second. They go to exittix.com and put in that code. So I'm going to copy that code so I have it for later to show you. So now that you have your students there, you can go and start making your assessments. You can make it for each class individually, or you can use the one up top here that will just make a blanket assessment that you can assign then to any class. A Quicket is like an on-the-spot, ooh, I want to see what everybody knows after this, one question, see how it is, and then you can get the data from that, and the kids can see the data also. Otherwise, launch, practice, and exit, they're all the same type of problems. It's just to help you when you go back and look at the calendar later of your assessments to see, okay, yeah, I did a pre-test there, yeah, we did that in the middle, or I use that for a check for understanding at the end. So the colors are just to help you. So let's do an exit. And here's where you put your title, example, and then here's where you pick your classes that you want it to go to. So I'm going to go to first period math, and then you click up here, oh, the publish. If you want to be able to go back, if you want to use the open-ended questions, which I'll show you here in a second, you can go back and grade those. So if somebody puts something in, spells it wrong, it's going to count it wrong, but you can go back and change those, but only if your assessment is current, because right now that's just in beta mode. So you want to go publish 2, and I usually do a week just so I have enough time to get in there and grade it. So I'll do just for this week for my math class. Come up here to questions, and then you can add your questions. You have multiple choice, true, false, free response, or you can go to an item bank. So the multiple choice, if you want to tag it so you can go back and find them later to add more questions similar to it, or find that one again, you can. Otherwise, you just type in your question. What is 2 plus 2, and then you have your answer choices. So you can put 5, 4, 3, or 2. If you want additional choices, you can do that also. Make sure you mark the right answer, and then you can go and add your next question. So you could do a true false, same thing. 2 plus 2 equals 5, and then you mark false, so you have the right answer. And here's the free response. So if you say 2 plus 2 equals blank, okay, free response. You could have multiple correct answers down here. So if you separate them by a semicolon, so you could do 4 or 4 like that for your correct answer, and then it'll accept either one the student puts in. But if they try spelling it and they spell it wrong, I'll show you how you can go back and change that later. So here's when you're done, you can save. Okay, it was saved, so now you can save and close. I'm going to make sure it's saved correctly. And so this is what you have. And so then once you have your students ready, you'd hit start, and then they get in there and you'll be able to see what it's like. So I'm going to open up a new window here real quick. I'm going to use Firefox. We're going to go side by side. So you can see the teacher view and the student view. So on the new one, I'm going to go to exittix.com. Okay, so here is where you put your code up. The kids go to the class code, not the login, the first time. The first time they have to go to class code. They enter that class code, OCX24481, and then they hit go. Oops, I missed a 4. There we go. They have to get it completely right or you can't get in. Okay, so they can log in with an existing account, or they are new and they need an account. So let's go new. And they can enter a username, enter a password, you don't have to let them, they don't have to put their student ID number in there, so you can just skip that one, and then they can ask for the name. I would just do the first letter of the last name. Okay, first 2 letters of the last name, and the account's created. Now right now it says there are no assessments for today, and that's because over here on the teacher side I haven't hit start yet. As soon as you hit start, it's going to show up for the students, so then they can get started. And as you're going through, I'm going to get some answers wrong on purpose here so you can see what happens. Right away, the teacher gets the data. The student gets feedback, continue, so it is 2 plus 2, if I suck 4, there I got one right, and then now you can see over on the teacher side how each problem is being done, and when you have a whole class full, it'll show you each class and how it's going. You can see each person individually, which ones they have right, wrong, and gray means they're not done yet. So as we go through here, we can do false. I got that one right too. So you can see that I got a 66 and nobody in the class mastered that course. The kids get to see their score. It finished, and then it shows how they've done so far. Okay, they can only take it once. If you click on it again, it only tells them it's finished, so they can't go back and take it again. They can go to their scorebook, and if they're in more than one teacher's using it, they can go and look at all of their classes, not just the one. So then it'll show you how they're doing for all the weeks, so they can go back and see week by week how they've done and things like that. Teacher-wise, you can make an intervention hot list. So it'll show you all of the kids who need some help. It'll give you a list of all the kids who need help, and so then you know which kids you need to pull to give more assistance to. And there are none because I didn't do well in this test, but then they also have the superstars, so you can see who got 100 on it, so you can maybe give them some advanced work to do. You get all of that instant data right away. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to make one more assessment here. So you can see, I'm just going to title it some garbage right now, just so you can see the free response. What is your favorite color? And of course it has to be Carolina blue. That should be everybody's favorite color. So I'm going to hit save and close like that, and then we're going to go back here to first period math. Here's my available assessments. I'm going to hit start on that one so my new one shows up. There it is. So now I can go take it. And maybe your kids don't know how to spell Carolina correctly. It's going to tell them they got it wrong and that they didn't do well. But then you can come back to your teacher page and you can go to rubric grading beta. And with rubric grading beta, it's going to show you all of the options that they gave, and then you can go through, and if, oh, that's right, they just spelled it wrong, you can change that to a correct score. So you can go back and give them the right score. So now that person has a 100. So then it doesn't have to be just wrong because they spelled it wrong. When you know that it's right, you can go and change that, which is kind of nice. One other option that you can show, I'm going to go back to today's assessments. You can, instead of showing teacher mode, there's a projector mode. Projector mode is kind of cool because you can go in here and view the results, and then it doesn't go show names at all. It only shows your score. So you can go through and show all of these different things to kids. You can go do the reteach tool, which is very, very, very powerful, because then you can show the kids how everybody in class answered that problem, and then you can discuss the ones that, oh man, we didn't do very well on this one. Okay, so then you can have that discussion with your whole class. It's a very easy website to use, a very powerful tool for you and for the students, and I hope that you give it a shot.